Today on our show, man.
News, the Flash.
All nude news.
Take this shit off. Today, promises nude.
Man tits on Fat Man on Batman.
You can't keep this much chocolate thunder under wraps.
Welcome back to Fat Man on Batman. I'm Kevin Smith.
Marc Bernardin.
Oh, it's been so long. Did you miss us?
We're so punchy.
I was overseas. This is all my fault. I went away. Took that movie, Mon Yogozers, to the Edinburgh Film Festival. Very well received.
Yeah, they loved it. They loved it in Indianapolis, too.
It went over, yeah, dude. Like, honestly, thank God I'm touring the movie, because after Sundance, I was like, nobody's ever going to like this movie. But that just wasn't the audience. It's the kids' audience, comic book movie audience, and stuff like that. The audiences of Sundance loved it. The critics did not like this movie. But it was very nice to take it places. I played in London, 2 screenings at the Prince Charles Theater, which was really sweet. They put the kid's name up on a marquee. It was very, very nice. So anyway, that took me out. But here we are. We're back.
We're back.
We're ready to do what we do. Talk about other people who accomplish things.
Talking about our betters to make them feel better.
That's right.
About how much better they are than us.
And then reminding us that we could probably do this shit too if we just applied ourselves a little more.
Ain't no mountain high enough except for that mountain, which is too goddamn high.
It's just easier to talk about, kids. Some things just are. So let's start. Let's dive in.
Do it.
Did we talk about, I didn't know because I was away, Battle of the Bastards, Game of Thrones.
Holy shit.
Whoa, did we talk about that?
That was the penultimate. We didn't talk about it.
We didn't talk about that or the last episode.
We were leading up to it in Indianapolis where we were like, who's going to die? And we didn't know.
And now we know.
We know.
Spoilers. That fucking piece of shit Ramsay, finally fucking dead, and dead in an awesome way.
Got 8.
Man, minute, dogs eat his face. Man, minute, dogs eat his face. And she watched. Sansa was just sitting there, man, like fucking. Oh, she was enjoying that shit. It was. So Sansa became a fucking rock star in this show. Remember her from first season? You're like, oh my god, of all the people who are killing off, take that girl out.
I want to marry him.
Yeah, remember she wanted to marry Joffrey, that fucking idiot.
It's like, Father, why can't I come with you to King's Landing to marry Joffrey? It's gonna be great.
He had no idea that that girl would turn out metal. I bet you he knew that Ariana would be like, Arya would be cool.
She wanted to be a sword fighter from the jump.
She was ready to cut dicks off at a young age. But now Sansa's just like, I'll cut any dick off. Fucking Littlefinger's little dick. Fucking Ramsay's fucking little dick. Theon's. Well, I can't cut his dick off. Somebody beat me to it.
Well, Reek.
Ramsay, man, dead.
Yes.
Such a satisfying. This whole fucking season finale. I mean, that was Battle of the Bastards episode. Wonderful.
Yes.
Fucking, like, shot like fucking crazy well.
This is the season.
Tell I'm a film critic. Yeah. Shot crazy well.
Look at the pretty.
Oh my God, I'm totally using that. Look at the pretty, kids. The fucking fight scene was phenomenal.
Dude, they took 25 days
to shoot that?
To shoot the fight scene. Just the fucking fight scene. Your average TV show gets 9 days to shoot an episode.
I directed Flash, 8 days to direct
8 days.
episodes.
8 days is a luxury.
25 days to shoot.
For 25 minutes, they had 25 days.
That's crazy.
Which is ungodly.
But you could see what a difference it makes. Like, it was beautiful. That whole episode was great. But then the season finale was perhaps one of the most satisfying hours of anything ever produced. I'm not saying television. I'm not saying HBO. I'm not saying things made by human hands. I'm saying the universe in an hour of making life and fucking pollen and bees making flowers and shit. None of that compared to as satisfying as that final Game of Thrones episode was. They tied up so many loose ends, took off so much dead fucking weight, who I didn't even consider dead weight, but once they killed them, I'm like, I guess you don't need those people. The dragons were flying and shit like that. Fucking Daenerys is finally on the goddamn boat. Look at that shit. Dude. Remember that? That was awesome. When she fucking met, and they were like, talking about the surrender, and she's like, you fucking don't understand.
My reign has just begun.
Oh, my dick was so hard during all that. And then she sends him up, dude, to burn the one fucking boat, and the other 2 dragons finally come out, and they're all like, let's do it.
Burn them all.
It looked like the most metal album cover of all time. That whole episode was just the most juice. But
so good.
The season finale, dude, they tied up all the fucking loose ends and set it in motion for what they're saying. There's only 2 seasons left, but they're not each going to have 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's probably like 8 and 8 or 10 and 6 or
We're
whatever.
in the final stretch. Let's say 15 to 16 episodes.
This is the third act of this story now.
That's exciting.
Like,
do you think George R.R. Martin's excited too? He's like, I want to know where it's going to.
Seriously. I saw some tweet from him saying,
he's like, those pricks.
No, it was like, oh, Leanna Mormont, the little 10-year-old Mormon girl who's the fucking most metal girl on the show.
She was phenomenal.
He's like, oh, you like that character, huh?
Really?
Yeah, like he's going to kill her because that's what he does.
I thought maybe it was like, oh, you like that character? She's going to be a hero of the next book. Like if I was him, I know he wouldn't do this because he's a purist and shit. But I'd be like, what are they saying?
What?
Right, I'm fucking, if they like her, guess what? She's the new hero. Fuck Jon Snow. It's the little girl. The little girl queen who's in charge of Bear Island.
Or Jon Targaryen.
Who's that?
That would be Jon Snow.
That's right, because now they fucking told us some shit.
It's explicitly clear.
They told us the worst kept secret in internet history that Jon Snow
oh, look at baby Jon
was
Snow.
a baby once.
You know everything, Jon Snow.
What a baby he was. Jon Snow, apparently the child of...
Rhaegar Targaryen.
Is it Rhaegar?
Rhaegar.
And
Lyanna Stark.
Ned's sister.
Yes.
So Ned's sister was like, don't fucking
See, I got it right, you guys, on the internet. I figured this shit out.
They were crying for fucking justice on that one. Like, you fucking idiot. You in charge of the LA Times, you fucking dumb piece of shit.
You're a moron.
Speaking of, let's put a pin on that and jump to, speaking of the LA Times. Marc wrote a wonderful article in the LA Times. For those that don't follow that closely, Marc has a fucking day job, a legit day job. He's the grown-up in the room where he edits the film section of the calendar of the LA Times.
Of the LA Times.
So that's fucking huge.
It's a
like
grown-up job.
3 papers that, if all the other papers in this country folded, the New York Times, the LA Times, the Chicago Tribune, I'd imagine.
Or the Washington Post.
Forgot about that. But all right, so 4. You know what? There's probably 80 papers that will never fold. Marc's on fucking one of them. In any event, BFG, is that big fucking giant. The fucking metalist movie that Spielberg ever made. Look at that big fucking giant. It's about a huge cock from what I understand.
Yeah, big fucking gun.
It is big, what is it, Big Friendly Giant?
Yes.
Big Friendly Giant. It's a Spielberg movie. Spielberg, for those of you who just tuned in, is a master filmmaker.
Yes, he makes movies.
He makes phenomenal
29 feature films to date.
And this is relevant information, as Marc just said, 29 feature films.
Correct.
Because Marc
did
what everybody does on the internet.
Yeah, have you met the internet where we rank things? Spielberg, from first to worst.
Look at that.
I did that.
My fault. I'm sorry.
I made this. I made this, you guys.
Now, we're showing you that, not because Marc's fucking proud that he's in print and shit, but there's a reason. Marc made a list of what he feels is Spielberg from first to worst.
Yes.
His, like, this is my number 1 pick, and this is my last
28th pick.
28th pick.
Yes. What do you think 28 is?
I'll know Jaws number 1.
Yes.
So the big picture's awfully big.
I figured this out.
And do you think he gives a shit that, like, I don't think the world feels this way, but I think there are a lot of us that are like, Jaws your best work. And that's not to say like the rest of your work is dog shit, Mr. Spielberg. No. Like, he's made amazing films, but they talk about me and my career like he fucking peaked with his first movie and shit. We're still talking about Jaws.
Yeah, like, and the fact that he was that good that quick is fucking bananas.
But there's something to be said. And it's not like, and ever since Jaws has been coasting, clearly the man's a genius and he's made fucking fantastic films and stuff, but he fucking announced himself with such thunder that like
he created a genre of films. Like he created the blockbuster with his first feature film.
Isn't that crazy? Like I felt good about Clerks.
Yeah.
Until I thought about this, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's a genius.
Sorry. Second feature film, Sugarland Express was before that.
No, it's a good movie. Sugarland Express is a good movie.
Yeah,
but
totally
fucking,
Jaws. Come on, Jaws.
Jaws is the birth of movie going as we know it today.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest fucking monster movies ever made and shit. Like, you take Spielberg out of the equation, B movie.
Yep.
Corman could have made this shit. Spielberg involved, just one of the greatest movies of all time. They're still talking about it. So Marc put that at number 1.
Yes. Number 2, Raiders.
I buy that. But let's go to, you said what's 28?
What's 28? What's the last on the list? Not counting BFG, which we hadn't seen before, press date.
Always.
Ooh.
I like Always, but I just figured you might.
No, I don't like it either, but it's not. It's
fuck that movie, but it's not its worst.
Not the worst.
Where'd you go?
I went Crystal Skull.
Oh.
Yeah.
You caught my reaction on that. Yeah. You might, you know what? You're right.
Like 1941 is a better movie than Crystal Skull.
Indeed. You're right though. And but again, that's not saying it fucking sucks. It's just on the Spielberg scale.
Totally.
Like we admit none of us could make that movie.
No.
I'll admit I wouldn't want to, but I would have made it a little more coherent than it was. But like, I don't have the talent to pull off that movie. This is just saying, of all his theatrical films, on the continuum, like there's always got to be a best and a worst if you're doing that many fucking movies by process of elimination.
Yeah, something's got to be the worst.
Tell them what happened next.
Because the internet and starting to get shit from the internet. Like, have you seen the movie Duel, my friend? Duel, the great Steven Spielberg feature film. Not a feature film.
It's a TV movie.
TV movie.
But
fantastic TV movie.
Legendary TV movie and a precursor to Jaws. Like basically you watch Duel and you watch Jaws, you're like, oh.
I get it.
Yeah, fucking Jaws is Duel with a shark. Or fucking Duel is Jaws without a shark.
Vice versa, men's.
But that's technically, and I wouldn't have put that on the list either because that's TV movie. And I'm not saying that's bad, but it's just, you clearly said his
feature films. So I got shit for that. I got shit for not loving Munich, apparently as much as I should. Love Munich.
Really? There's a Munich,
There's a Munich contingent that was heretofore never brought to bear on
Where were they when that
world.
movie was out, man? I honestly, I'm not like, fuck Munich. I just don't remember much about it.
Yeah. Like I
remember some of the fucking killing and stuff, but just in general, like it doesn't, like, I don't know, like there are a lot of Spielberg movies on this list where you pull a random title.
Yeah, War Horse.
I see that. What was that about? You made a movie called War Horse?
Yeah, it's about this World War I story.
Is it based on a play or some shit? Yeah. That was out like 2 years ago. All right, not later Spielberg.
Not later
Early
Spielberg. Early Spielberg?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Amistad. Another one you didn't see?
Well, I saw it, but like I'm looking for the magical Spielberg.
Oh, you want magic Spielberg?
Not the history
lesson. Not just random Spielberg?
No, well, that's history led. Like Spielberg has become our cinematic history teacher.
Right.
He likes to be like, hey, remember this? Remember the Cold War? Remember these things? And it's great, but
It's funny, like I realized that when ranking this thing, he has his reputation of being our great genre filmmaker.
Yeah.
He almost never looks forward. Like he's made 2 movies set in the future.
Give him a single. Is he going to sit good? Keep on that single. This is important.
AI is in the future.
This is the important pointing finger. He's saying
AI,
something.
Aliens and War of the Worlds. I'm sorry. No. Fuck. The other one. Minority Report.
Those are the only 2 movies where he looks into the future.
Right. Where it's literally set in the future. Everything is either contemporary or in the past. And even the genre ones we love are in the past.
Explain.
Like
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Can you tell me what I'm about to say out loud, Mark? Yes, you're right.
Like it's either contemporary or like Jurassic Park, even Close Encounters, even E.T. Or they're about aliens, but they're now. Because he wants to tell us stories about now. Like divorce and family and fractured,
He was definitely on the divorce train long before anybody. Well, like him and Kramer versus Kramer were the kind of people that break to the world. Like there is such a thing as divorce. Sometimes parents get fucking divorced, and used it in all of his movies. Totally, Not all of them, but a lot of his movies, like the kids,
especially like children of divorce. Yeah. Like, in E.T., it is fundamentally clear that this is a family that has been sort of torn a bit by divorce, but here's how we get through it.
I like to think of it as the E.T. family is the Brody family, but Chief Brody got eaten by a shark. You could have told that same story with Lorraine Gary, who played, it could have been
kids.
If it could have been the follow-up to Jaws 5. Remember the Jaws of Revenge, where she was the big player, where they brought Ellen Brody back in?
We got her back.
Totally. Then you could have gone to, I'm just saying, missed opportunities.
Right.
No, but what, let's go to Munich real quick. How much shit did you take, like, you anti-Semitic piece of shit? Is that?
Not so much. It was more like, I really feel like, and it's always like older people who are a bit cineasts who are like, I feel like you should revisit Munich. There's a lot to recommend in this film.
I'll take that over someone being, you fucking fat piece of shit. You actually like this bullshit. I'm like, I do.
It's really great. Or do you just hate Jews? No, I love
You're like,
Jews,
look, I just hyped it. Where'd you put it on the list? It's not there at all.
Munich is 20.
Let's do your list while we got it.
All right, so one is Jaws.
Start from the bottom.
Start from the bottom.
Even though we know the last one.
Yeah.
All right, fuck it. Start from one because we know it. We've spoiled it already. So number 1 is Jaws.
Number 1 is Jaws. Number 2 is Raiders.
Yes.
Number 3, Saving Private Ryan.
Wow. You know, this would be an impossible list for me to do. I'm glad you did it. But I love that movie. Like, that is an utterly fucking watchable movie, and it's incredibly well made and shit. For opening half hour of that movie is some of the most gripping fucking storytelling ever.
Yeah. Told
in the history of mankind. Happens to be done with cameras and shit. It's fucking, it puts you, it makes you feel like, you know, I'll never feel like I was on a battlefield and shit. I just fucking.
The closest you'll ever get to that.
It gave you, more than any other movie I've ever seen, like, it gave me a distinct impression of, oh my God. And he did it again in Lincoln.
Yeah.
The opening of Lincoln is like even more horrifying on some level than fucking the opening of Saving Private Ryan, because it's like motherfuckers getting their face pushed in the dirt with a boot and stabbed with a fucking knife. All the fighting is just filthy and mucky and horrible and stuff.
The story that I heard was that for Saving Private Ryan, for Private Ryan, they didn't really have a script for that sequence because Spielberg wanted it to feel random. He wanted it to feel like anything could happen and anything did happen. So, like, the dude whose guts are coming out, like, we don't know where that's going to go in the sequence. Great idea, let's do it now. So it felt
just a series of vignettes that he's like, I'll smash it together.
Yeah, so it would feel as if you got off of that boat and you're just thrown into war and everything is just coming at you at once and nothing makes any sense.
It absolutely fucking plays like that, man. Like, you're disoriented.
Yeah.
Like somebody coming off that boat.
But can you imagine on that
fucking
scale?
landing when it's like, boom, first fucking 4 dudes get taken out and you're like,
yeah, but just like, we're going to improvise this massive sequence with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line. We're making it up as we go.
I mean, if you're going to trust anybody, trust that guy.
Seriously.
He fucking saved your ass with Jaws and shit.
All right, so
I mean, he also created a problem with Jaws. That's the beauty of Jaws, is he created a problem. Let's make a movie on the water. And then it was like, fuck! And then had to solve the problem and created a cinematic masterpiece.
Totally, because the shot don't work.
This tale is long, and still you were like, Jaws is #1. That says something. That movie is amazing. If you haven't watched Jaws lately, the fuck is your problem?
And if you can ever see it on the big screen with a crowd, it's funnier than I ever gave it credit for.
Yeah.
Like, it's got so much heart, it's got so much humor, and it fucking moves, and the characters all pop, and then when it slows down for a reason. It slows down to hear the Indianapolis story. It slows down to hear, you know, just to look at Quint, like on the edge of that thing, just kind of like looking.
But this is my thing I've said about that movie forever. Because, you know, I'm always like, I love Jaws, it's influential. And they're like, why, you never made a movie like Jaws? Well, I am going to make Moose Jaws. But still, my favorite part of Jaws, I think one of the most profoundly impactful parts of Jaws, everybody talks about, is the Indianapolis speech. Least cinematic part of the movie. Literally, just hanging a camera on a guy who's talking. That's the least cinematic thing you could do in a movie, is put a camera on a motherfucker. Kevin Smith could have shot that scene. That's how fucking easy that scene is to shoot. And surrounded by that scene is a bunch of movie with fucking rubber sharks and fucking people getting eaten and cool shit and POV cameras and that music and shit. But like, so many people, I would say everybody remembers that fucking speech. And they didn't cut to flashbacks of like, here's the sharks biting people and shit. It's literally just Robert Shaw telling a story and reaction shots from like Richard Dreyfuss and Roy Scheider. That's some epic storytelling, dude.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of that special effects extravaganza where you've created the summer blockbuster and everybody's sitting around going, oh my God. You stop and do the oldest thing in the book, like listen to this guy tell a story and everybody just looks at somebody talking. It's powerful.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the rest of the list.
So, number 3, Private Ryan. Number 4, E.T. Number 5, Schindler's List.
Oh, I love Schindler's List. I probably would have moved that higher. I bet you I would have done that as number 2. Jaws and then Schindler would probably be me.
Yeah.
Schindler's List is an amazing fucking film. And
it really is. I mean, and even for bringing it 5, it's still an amazing movie.
Yeah.
For me, it suffers for the fact that Spielberg can like get overly sentimental at times and overly manipulative at times. And the tail end of Schindler gets that way for me.
With the putting the rocks in the grave and stuff.
It's like, it's in case you didn't cry at all this atrocity.
But that's just, like, and honestly, that's a dude going, underlining the Oscar. And he did, you know, he earned it at that point. That is a grim fucking tale. Like, there's like, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but even in the fucking saving, there's the speech about like this pin could have saved so many more lives. Like, it is relentlessly, like the Holocaust, relentlessly fucking bleak, and there's this one shining light of this man who saved these people's lives. That color sequence with the rocks on the grave, dude, that's, you know, that's like, like it worked out for some people. They've got, you know, these are who they survivors and some of their family and stuff. Like, I never faulted him for that, but I remember, like, Harvey was mad about that.
Yeah.
Because I forget what was, Miramax had something against Schindler's List that year. And, you know, he was just like, we're going to lose because of the rock scene.
Was it like Life is Beautiful or something like that?
No, it was not even close. That was later on. But, I mean, it would be something like Crying Game or God, what else? Piano, maybe?
Yeah,
around that time.
Feels like maybe.
But, all right, so Schindler's List is number what? 5?
5. Close Encounters is 6. Jurassic Park is 7. War of the Worlds is 8. Where?
It's just like, could you imagine being able to rattle off these titles as yours? Like, if I were to do this list, I'm like, these are movies I've seen. This guy does it. He's like, these are movies I fucking
I made all these. And also, again, like Schindler's List and Jurassic Park the same year.
I know.
Yeah, I remember those
Banner
stories.
year. I do. He left this. He left the. You know, he always leaves while they're shooting the last scene because on Jaws they were going to throw him in the water. So he's like, I'm not doing that. And he left while they were still shooting the last scene. So he's done that apparently traditionally all the way through. So I guess he left like Jurassic Park to go to fucking Schindler's List.
And I think he was cutting Jurassic while on set. Like the first Avid ever was brought to his trailer on Schindler's List so he could cut Jurassic.
So he could do digital cut.
Yeah.
Fuck. Could you imagine, like, talk about using 2 different parts of your brain and heart to tell stories? Like, you know, fucking Jurassic Park is thrilling in, you know, like, dinosaurs eating the fuck out of cars and shit. And Schindler's List is thrilling because it's just insanely emotional storytelling. Like, and you always knew that dude was good at family. Like, you know, for the Jaws scene alone with the hands and the kid and stuff. This is one of the greatest moments in cinema history and stuff. So seeing him get into Schindler's List, and he also has personal ties and stuff. Yeah, that movie's tough to do.
Yeah. So War of the Worlds, Lincoln is 9, Last Crusade.
Lincoln's 9 for you?
Lincoln's 9. Yeah.
Yeah, on the list. You liked it that much?
I did like it. Like it's restrained in a way that you don't see Spielberg be that very much. Like of all of the white guys solve problems that black people have movies he makes, that is the best of them.
Right.
Compared to Amistad. Right. Like slave revolt. Let's tell the story about the white guy. Like, all right, sure. Go purple. Yay! All right, I guess. So yeah, 10 is Last Crusade. 11 is Catch Me If You Can.
I love that movie.
It's so much fun.
It's a really great film.
12 is Minority Report.
2 mice fell in a bowl of cream. He's so good. Christopher Walken's amazing in that movie.
And it's fun. Like that bit where he
Leonardo DiCaprio's charming as fuck in that movie too.
He is the least insufferable he's ever been.
Really, and I remember at one point he's like passing himself off as Barry Allen. He has Flash comics and stuff. God, that's such a good movie.
12 is Minority Report. 13 is
a good movie too.
13 is Bridge of Spies. 14.
I still haven't seen Bridge of Spies.
It's like a really well-made watch. Like all it's doing is telling time, but it's telling time in a really just totally efficient, totally synchronized way.
And the dude's good.
Yeah, Mark Rylance is good. Tom Hanks does what Tom Hanks does. He's not special. It's just good. 14 is The Lost World, Jurassic Park. 15, Sugarland Express. 16, AI. 17, Adventures of Tintin.
Wait, where'd you put Lost World?
14.
I'd have put that in the bottom 5.
Yeah?
For me, I remember rewatching it before Jurassic World came out, and I was like, wow, I like this. I like the first one a lot more than this. No, it's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. The glass scene on the glass that is just breaking is cool as shit, but yeah, that would have been lower on my list.
Like there are some sequences that are great, but it's just like perfunctory. 17 is Adventures of Tintin. 18.
Wow, that high? Is it that good?
It's fun. It's fun. Like
I have to give it a watch.
Because it does the things that Spielberg has always wanted to do, but couldn't because of like gravity and physics. But now it's animated, so he can do whatever he wants. And there's a great fucking like 4-minute chase scene, uncut, with Tintin just racing off of this dam that's going to like exploding, and trucks are chasing, and missiles and explosions, and he's on a motorcycle. The motorcycle falls apart. It's just. Like,
you fucking sold the ticket, dude.
I'm gonna watch it. There's some fun stuff in there.
Okay.
Temple of Doom, 18.
Okay.
19 is Empire of the Sun. 20, Munich. 21, Color Purple. 22, Warhorse, because who gives a shit.
Color Purple, I mean, I guess, that's not considered a white guy figuring things out.
Not so much. Like, and I like Color Purple.
I like that movie a lot.
You know, it's really fucking emotional.
Top 15, very emotional. Where she's like, until you do right by me, everything you do gonna fail. Oh my God.
It's just like he's plucking every heartstring he possibly can. Sinners got sold too, Daddy.
And it's a story about a woman who's for fucking freedom from the tyranny of a shitty husband and a fucking shitty life across the board is making pants. Like, remember at the end of the day, she makes pants and everybody's like, hey, she invented pants.
Miss Seeley's pants.
It's a good fucking movie. Oh my God, dude, the ending of that movie with the... That's going to make me cry. Just like she's in the store and all of a sudden, like, finally after all that time, she sees her sister and they do the hand thing.
With like her children, like the grandchildren.
Where'd you put this movie?
That's number 21.
You piece of shit. That should be much higher. We almost just cried together.
This is what my email looks like.
You're going to get an angry one from me. How dare you? You sir, must be a racist.
It's true. I'm a self-loathing black person.
I can't wait to see your lily white face. He's what? Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Excuse me. All good. All good here. How are you?
You're right. Put it where you want it. That would go higher for me. Just even, in fact, I'm gonna go home tonight and watch The Color Purple.
Nah.
I almost cried, dude, thinking about that last scene. I forgot about that. Like, I remember watching that in the theater and fucking bawling. I was a teenager, and I had to explain it to my teenage friends. They were like, "What were you doing even at The Color Purple?" And I was like, "It's Spielberg, man.
I gotta see them all."
Oh God,
gotta catch them all. All right, then War Horse is 22.
I didn't see this movie. And?
Nah.
And still 22?
Still 22. 23 is Hook. 24 is The Terminal. Remember The Terminal? Tom Hanks stuck in an airport for a movie.
That's not in that, just by process of elimination, not like, fuck this movie.
It's just, it doesn't have a reason to exist beyond they wanted to make a movie where they didn't have to travel, so they built a set in Palo Alto they can drive to.
It's like they saw Clerks and they're like, yeah, one set.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Spend a little more money.
We'll spend like $70 million on this set, but it's a set, you guys. 25 is Always.
I love Always.
26 is...
Beautiful movie, but you're probably right to put it at like 25.
26 is Amistad. 27, 1941, and 28, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
So 1941 is almost the back end of the list?
Yeah.
Even years later? Really? Did you rewatch it?
Yeah.
And it's just...
Like, just because Spielberg is a fun filmmaker does not make him a funny filmmaker. And
it's
like
John Belushi.
It's John Belushi, but it's just he doesn't have a...
The stars at night are big and bright. As he attacks Hollywood. I remember the opening scene too. Was the riff on Jaws with the sub. Like Christopher Lee.
That is, you needed like Zucker Abrams Zucker to make that movie.
To make that work a little more.
And
boy, that movie looked big and expensive too.
It really did. And even for whatever the fuck that was, like 1980.
Yeah, it was
maybe
big and expensive.
Like, we spent $40 million on this. Spielberg's
Look
folly.
at this dance scene. Directors, they say every director has a dance scene in them. It's just part of your DNA. I did one on Clerks too, and I'm not even a fucking director by any stretch of the imagination, but apparently it's true. Every filmmaker, like the Coen brothers recently have been like,
dancing up a storm.
Numbers and shit. Dancing up a storm. There it is, man.
I made a list.
Look at that.
I did what the internet does. I made a list.
And go see BFG. Did you see it?
I did not see it. And nobody else did by the
Ooh, what an excellent segue into our box office report. Go ahead.
Box office roundup. All right, so of the 4-day weekend, these are estimates still.
4-day meaning 4th of July weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
So
and we're
Friday,
doing this
Saturday,
on Sunday, so who knows what happens on Monday.
Right. I mean, Monday could be fucking nuts.
Could be Independence Day. Literally, ships could come down, blow up fucking movie theaters, and then box office is over.
And these numbers are inaccurate.
Or they'll be the last numbers ever, hence the most accurate.
Right. The last movie anybody ever saw, Finding Dory.
What is number one?
Finding Dory.
Of course.
Yes.
You've seen this.
I have seen it.
I still have not. I want to. And?
I liked it, didn't love it. You know, like it's missing the metaphor that was so strong in the first movie, which was, you know, the father who has to learn to let his son go. And by letting him go is how he's going to bring him back. And then the son who has to learn that his father is not overwhelmingly awful just for being a dad. Right. And that being alone is not the worst thing in the world.
Jesus Christ, man. Like, is that what Nemo's about?
That's kind of what Nemo's about.
That's what you want. This dude around and explain shit to you. I just liked it because it was like, oh, it's a fish story.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful fish story.
It is a beautiful fucking way to put it. So Dory doesn't quite have that.
I mean, Dory has a nice metaphor in there, which is it's basically the kid who gets lost in a mall who feels like it's been that kid's fault the whole time. Like it's Dory who is like sort of short-term amnesia, wanders away from her parents and can never find them again. And so she's been holding on to this blame. The one thing she can remember is how bad she feels that her parents have been looking for her for as long as she thinks they've been looking for her. And so when Finding Dory actually happens, it's in the title, just like Finding Nemo, you're going to find Nemo, they find Dory. Like it's this great heartbroken moment of her saying, I'm sorry for being lost. which just breaks your heart in two. Like this kid has been just holding on to this agony for however long fish live. Years, maybe decades. I don't know. Weeks. Unclear.
Like, this all happened in the 30 seconds after Nemo ended because fish live lives like flies.
Done. But you know, it's for
That's
all
touching,
of that.
I was about to roll fucking tears.
It is touching.
I saw an opening scene where she was a little baby fish.
With the cutest
teaching with the cutest voice and look, and they're teaching her to say like, "I suffer from short-term memory loss." And they're like acting out a school scenario where it's like, "I'm a stranger at school."
I mean, it's worth seeing, but it's not. It
don't go looking for Nemo.
Don't go looking for the sort of sage wisdom of Nemo, and
just go looking for Dory and a good time.
Pretty much. And I took my kid. I took my daughter to go see it. She was, and if. In case you don't realize, the story of my daughter, which we talked about in Indianapolis, is my daughter's autistic, and Finding Nemo is the one movie she will watch from beginning to end.
Right.
And she's 13, and so I've seen Finding Nemo now 432 times, maybe.
And it holds up.
It holds up.
You guys like break it down like a scholar. You're like, you know what Nemo's
listen,
about.
you guys, I've spent a lot of my life. I've got a PhD in Nemo. So I took her to see it, and she was like mildly diverted for a while, and then like bored because there's a part of the movie that's a little boring. And then when it gets colorful and poppy again, she just started to sing like, "Just keep swimming, just keep swimming." It's like, oh, yay! I don't know if this will be for her what Nemo is for her, but
she won't watch it as much or as many times.
Yeah, God, I hope not. Because
Zootopia? She watched Zootopia?
Yeah, she didn't content Zootopia as much as the boy did, but holy shit.
I had to watch Zootopia. I didn't have to, but I was on planes lots, so I was like, "Oh, I'll fucking watch Zootopia." What an amazing fucking flick!
Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. And Jason Bateman and what's her name, Jennifer Goodwin, they deserve awards for their performances. I mean, the animators, of course, deserve awards for creating the look and everything like that, but their performances are so beautiful. Like Jason Bateman, they should give him all the awards this year. He was, I think, my favorite person in the movie this year might be Jason Bateman as that fucking fox.
Yeah.
He was so fucking charming, so touching. Like it has one of the best, like broken-hearted apology scenes I've ever seen in a movie where she's like, "And you can hate me." And oh my God, it's such a good flick. But it also just works as a buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
Like it's well plotted. And
it also is a really kind of trenchant, like racial allegory.
That's the that's the thing that blows your hair back where you're watching the movie going,
like,
oh,
they're talking what?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And all the best movies don't fucking like bang you over the head. I saw somebody online was like, liberal fucking bullshit. I didn't feel that at all. No. I didn't feel preached to. And then when I finally figured out what was going on, I was like, holy shit. This is brilliant because who's fucking watching this? Bunch of kids. Who needs this? Bunch of fucking kids. But even as an adult, message is beautiful and clear and fucking, it was just so well fucking executed. Apparently the same people that did Frozen, Big Hero 6, and Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes, which is getting a sequel.
And Wreck-It Ralph, they've just announced is getting a sequel. So everybody coming back, and they said the last one was in the world of video games. This one takes place,
I think, in the real world-ish. I think
in the internet. They said like takes place. So are there
outside of the games?
There's got to be enough internet games to be like.
But also, like, those characters on, say, Tumblr or Instagram or social media, like, there's plenty of awful paths to walk down.
There's a writer right there thinking about shit. You figured it out already.
So Dory was number one, 53.4 million domestic. Tarzan was number 2.
Did you see Tarzan?
I did see Tarzan.
What did you think?
Did not love Tarzan.
It seems to have, the critics didn't like it, but then it did better this weekend at the box office than they thought it was going to.
Like it
needs to because it was like 175 million bucks.
It was forecasted for like 33 million and it made 43.1, which is still like not phenomenal for a movie that cost 185 million being released over Independence Day weekend, but better than like an abject flop.
It's just, I mean, you put up a tweet where I was like, wow, I'd fucking watch that Tarzan movie like that. And I like this guy, Alexander Skarsgård. And I like
Margot Robbie.
The whole cast, nothing wrong with it. And Craig Brewer, who did Black Snake Moan, Hustle and Flow. He wrote a draft of the script or co-wrote. His name is on it and stuff. And was it David Yates' director?
Who did the last 4
Harry Potter movies. The fucking 4 really enjoyable Harry Potter movies and stuff. So he's got a great pedigree.
Yeah, I mean, just the problem
at the end
for
of the
me,
day, it's like who
there's
cares about Tarzan?
Who cares about Tarzan? And at its core, Tarzan is a problematic story to try to tell in a 21st century milieu, which is so much about colonialization and so much about, you know, oppression and so much about sort of subjugation. And it's, you know, here's Africa, and the black people in Africa are like window dressing in the background, or they're dancing or singing, or they're the savages who are trying to stop the two white people from falling in love. And it's like, we're in Africa, right?
Yeah.
So could maybe
It reminds me of Book of Mormon, man, where they're like, I am Africa. With the white guys in white shirts singing.
You know, and like Disney had made an animated Tarzan.
Yes.
Which actually has no black people in it either.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, they managed to make a Tarzan movie in Africa with no black people.
But be fair, Mark, it had Phil Collins songs. So if you're going to take something out, replace it with something amazing, and that's what they did.
They went to the sister studio.
In my heart. Didn't he won an Oscar?
He totally did.
Over Trey and Matt for Blame Canada.
God damn it. One more reason not to like Phil Collins.
Yeah, another reason I hate Tarzan. All right, so this version of it, is it like, hey, this is as good as it can fucking get? Or is it like, why did they do this?
For me, it's a
How could you save it? I mean,
I would have saved it by making Jane an African.
That's so fucking smart.
You know?
How come nobody's ever done that?
Well, Hollywood.
Because tell them why. But tell them why it makes sense.
Because, I mean, if you've got this character who's raised in the jungle, and, you know, why would he, in the odds of people you would encounter in Africa, find the one other white person to then fall in love with? So if his way into the world would be the people on the edge of the jungle, it should be some African tribeswoman who he just falls in love with. And she gets to be the reason why he falls in love with Africa. And she gets to be the reason why he then goes back to Africa. Instead of, hey, we're here.
Instead of, I was raised by apes.
Yes.
Like, you know, my heart is here and fucking this is where my love is and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's at least hey, that's an update that makes sense.
It's a thing that's a little bit new.
Yeah.
And at least it gives me a reason to want to make a Tarzan movie or want to see a Tarzan movie. Never mind that you would probably, if you're going to make like the real Tarzan movie, he's just fucking monkeys the whole time. He is just doing nothing but having sex with apes because he absolutely would.
They would have my money. I'm not lying right now. If somebody was just like, seriously, we did it, it's fucked up. Yeah. I'd be like, here you go.
This guy's just ball deep in gorillas for
Why
the entire movie.
did you do this? They're like, because it's real.
We talked to Sir David Attenborough, and he said these motherfuckers would absolutely be having sex.
Was there, and it's a case of like everybody's doing their job well, but it's just like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, ultimately who gives a shit. And I've seen people online like, yo, it was fun. It was Rip Roaring Adventure. It was a kind of, you know, throwback pulp.
I give a shit.
Look, me give shit. Me, Tarzan. But
I'll watch the movie. I don't know if it's going to make me go to the theater. Like, let's be honest, it's not going to make me go to the movie theater, but I'll totally watch it.
You'll see it on a plane, and you'll be like, you know what? I've seen worse things.
Totally. And meanwhile, David Yates will never see Yoga Hosers and never have that moment on a plane or anything like that.
Until you King of Comedy him.
Yeah, I'm like, watch this shit.
You're going to watch it.
All right, let's fucking blow.
Yeah?
Yeah, we got news. We'll do that next episode, a bunch of news to tell you about.
Newsing it up.
Cool shit, man. But that Spielberg article, man,
we had a good time.
That was a good time right there. It's a good time. Right there, I guarantee you a bunch of people watching the show are like, I'm totally watching fucking
Warhorse?
Yeah, I was actually going to say Amistad. Like, go through that list. Watch fucking Catch Me If You Can.
Do that. What? Catch Me If You Can and Color Purple. Even though I ranked it where I ranked it.
Yeah, number one.
And because, like,
number one, holy shit.
I know. The black guy who ranks it way lower.
I mean, come on. It's a beautiful movie. I forgot. That ending's making me cry. I'm watching that movie tonight. Yeah. But when I'm watching that, you can watch Color Purple as well. But you need to watch Catch Me If You Can. Yeah. It is fucking delightful.
It's great. And like young Amy Adams is like, embraces
everybody in the fucking flick, man. Jennifer Garner. Yeah. Young Jennifer Garner as well. I mean, it's not like she's old. Like Jennifer Garner from a couple of years ago. The movie's like got to be 10 years old at this point.
Yeah.
My kid was little when I saw it.
I can look it up if you'd like me to.
Do it up. Pull it out. I hear
the information.
I hear it's in the LA Times.
In the LA Times. Hold on. I got an art lost to children today, how to open a newspaper.
People watching this, but what is that?
What?
Isn't that what you start a fire with?
Oh, hello. How are you? 2002.
Newspaper kids. 2002, that's coming up on 15 years old, that movie? Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Yeah, you know it was 30 years old yesterday? Big Trouble in Little China.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
There was a movie that, quite like every movie I've ever made, was not embraced at the box office.
Nope.
But certainly found its audience afterwards. Sometimes water just finds its level. I mean, you know, that was not a movie for everybody until it was at home.
Yes.
Then it was for everybody.
Totally.
You know, maybe people don't treat it like religion, but I don't give a fuck who you are. You've watched that movie at one point to be like, this is fucking crazy.
What's going on here? I don't know, but I kind of like it.
That was a funny movie, too.
Yeah.
Wow, 30 years old. Boy, I feel fucking old as a dick. A big, dangly, floppy, wrinkly old dick.
And I feel young as when the dick was new.
Stop feeling them young dicks. You're gonna get thrown off the internet, goddammit.
Oh, the internet has no problem with feeling
Yeah,
young.
they're like, oh my God, that's all we do here. That and horse porn. And we bitch about movies. There it is. Come back next week, man. We're gonna talk about next episode.
Yes.
Which will be like 2 days from now. We'll talk about some fucking news right here.
News in it.
There it is, man. So that's it for this week. For Fat Man on Batman, I'm Kevin Smith.
And I'm Marc Bernardin.
Come back next week, same fat time, same fat channel, smodcast.com.
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor, click that thing below that says subscribe. Every time you click that, you save a baby kitten from murder.